DJ, what are you doing? It looks like from here, it looks like you're polishing your pumpkin, man.
I mean, yeah, I am. Why you gotta make it sound so dirty, man? Why you gotta do that? I mean, listen, you should show a little more respect to the first ever Pumpkin King here on Tim's Nation. And with that, welcome back, all of my 40K fanatics out there. I'm DJ, the first ever Tim's Nation Pumpkin King.
Yeah, you can't argue with that. You are the Pumpkin King.
I have a trophy that says so. So, it's amazing what you can find on Amazon. Right. So, joined once again by Lane, and we'll be doing a little more competitive 40K today as we're dialing it up, trying to bring the notch up there. I wouldn't say going to 11 just yet. I'd say we're about like a 7.5. Maybe get it up to an 8.
Yeah, I'm just trying out some new stuff with Votann, so I'm not real confident on how great it is yet, but we'll see.
And I personally am bringing back the Cult of No Personality because after a very surprising game into Lane and his Iron Hands, I saw a lot of potential out of it. So we want to give this MSU a try. It definitely seemed like it validated another chance. Mm-hmm. So as always, guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Turn on the bell and get notified on all the content we bring you here on the channel, including Lane's more intense breakdown on his army list as well as mine.
I don't know how intense it is.
It is an intense breakdown. Okay. It's serious.
Serious. I mean, I'm usually pretty chill. I'm usually pretty chill of my army tale.
These are very serious topics. Okay. This is very serious.
Serious business.
This is serious business. Serious business right here. But guys, make sure you take a look at those videos. And with that being said, speaking of those, let's give a real quick brief synopsis of what we're bringing today. Lane, talk to me about your Votann. What do you got?
Exactly 2,000 points of the Leagues of Votann. So I've got 3 characters to start off with. We have the Einherjar Champion, we've got the Iron Master, and we've got the Call. All 3 of them have enhancements here. So the Iron Master has the Grim Demeanor, the Einherjar Champion has a long list, and the Call has a Praising Glare. Now we just got 1 10-man of the Hearthkin Warriors. We've got 3 6-mans of the Pioneer Jet Bikes. That's right, I have not given up on them yet. I love all my Jet Bikes. I've got 2 squads of the Hearthguard, 1 5-man with the Volkites and the Plasma Blades, and 1 10-man with the Plasma Guns and the Power Fists. And then we've got 3 6-mans of the Thunderkin. All of them have the grav cannons. You'll see some of the models have bolt cannons, but we're running them all as grav cannons today. And then just 2 of the Sagittars. That's all I've got. DJ, what are you bringing?
All right, so with the return of the Destroyer Cult, the quote-unquote Cult of No Personality for you music fans, this is an entire Destroyer list. Everything is Destroyer except for 1 unit, which is my Canoptic Reanimator. Otherwise, we have a 6-man of Locusts, a 2-man of Locusts, 3 mans of Heavy Destroyers, 2 with Gauze, 1 with the Exterminator, 3 squads of Scorpex, 1's a 6-man, 2 or 3-mans, and all will be joined by a Scorpec Lord. 2 squads of Ophidian Destroyers, 1 Hexmark Destroyer, and the Locust and 1 squad of Heavies will also be joined by a Locust Lord. We do have a Veil that's going to be with the Locust Heavy Destroyers. The Sovereign is going to be with the regular Locust Destroyers. And we took the Centriple Weave on our good old buddy Scorpec Lord Thanos. And that is what we will be bringing back today. A lot of punch, a lot of power. So, you have a lot more guns than what we've seen before with some of the Votann builds.
I have a lot of bullets to give you.
You have a lot of bullets to go into my dudes. And I have a lot of dudes for you to try to shoot down. Mm-hmm. With some of your things like we were discussing, like the Thunderkin are excellent. But I do have a lot of T6, which can kind of offset some of their damage. Mm-hmm. But it's just so much volume of dice coming in that each of those, because what's the damage on that weapon?
So the Thunderkin, their grav cannons are D6 shots, blast. Mm-hmm. They're strength 5, AP 2, 2 damage. Okay,
so 2 of those shots are going to take out most of my stuff because majority of my stuff is at least 3 wounds.
Yeah.
So I can soak up some of that damage. I control the combat section of this film because you have a little bit of combat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Hearthguards can punch a little bit.
But not to the level of some of the stuff like the Scorpex and the Scorpec Lords can, since they sacrifice all their guns. So it's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be a piece of the momentum for this game is, can I get these guys into combat with you before you completely paste everything off the field? If we get into a gun battle, I will not win that war. So it's going to be a question of, can these guys survive to get through that onslaught and get to you quick enough, ducking, dodging, and weaving through terrain. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I've been looking forward to trying to get this list on the table for a while. And obviously, you spent a lot of time into your Votann recently to get all these extra characters.
Yeah, I needed more guys. I haven't been super happy with the hackathons in 10th edition, so I wanted to just run more infantry and just more volume of shots. So I only had 6 of the Thunderkin painted up before. Now I've got 18 of them. I've got 10 more of the Hearthguard. I only have 5 of them in 9th edition. So got some more guys painted up. They're all looking good, and I like the way the army looks, and we'll see how it performs. I've run into a few problems with those Hearthguard. They can deep strike in, but once they get there, they're a little slow. They're only a 5-inch move, so I got to put them in the right place. That's the key to me playing the army today. I'm going to be bringing some of the Thunderkin from reserves, and their guns are only an 18-inch range. They only have a 5-inch move. I'm going to be deep striking some of the Hearthguard. They only have a 5-inch move, so I have to be very careful about my movement, my placement of these models. Otherwise, they can be stuck in a place and not be able to contribute to the battle otherwise. So
I remember when we were first discussing this list and some of the stuff that you were talking about putting in there, I was starting to, you gave me the concepts and we started going through it, and I was like, okay, here is what I can do with this list, or what I could possibly do to stand at this point. And then at the end of it, you were kind of confused. At the end, you're like, okay, that's a great plan for one Thunderkin squad, but what about the other 2? And I was just like, oh, I'm in danger. I'm in danger.
Yeah, I mean,
there's 3.
The points are so cheap on them. A 6-man squad of Thunderkins is only 150 points. So I might as well.
Right. That's some nasty weaponry there. Nasty weaponry. All right. Well, my good little Pumpkin King trophy has been keeping the dice, your friendly dice, safe.
Right.
Blessing it for me. So we're going to move that out of the way. Don't want any accidental damage there. And as we know, same old drill. Your best friend.
Yeah.
Odd or even.
Even. Oh,
look at that. It likes you today. So it's going to be an even. Lane, are you going to deploy first or second?
I'll have you make the first round.
Always. All right. We'll be back after deployment. All right, sports fans. We are deployed. I guess if you're a sports fan, you're probably not watching 40K right now because it is Monday Night Football time. All right. So we are deployed. Lane, talk to us a little bit about what we're doing here today.
All right, our deployment, as you may be able to suss out from the way our models are placed, is Crucible of Battle. So we've got the diagonal lines here and here. Then our mission's special rule is Scrambler Fields. This one is rough for my Votann because my Pioneer Jet Bikes and my Sagittars have scout moves, but for this mission rule, Scrambler Fields, you cannot infiltrate, place any infiltrators in no man's land. You cannot complete any scout moves in no man's land. You cannot deep strike or come in from reserves onto any objectives, and you cannot redeploy onto any objectives in no man's land. So
hey, it's also kind of beats me up a little bit too with like things and tricks like my Ophidians and stuff like that, meaning I can't get in there and steal objective markers like I like to do.
Yeah, it's going to be real tough to capture enemy outposts today. So and then our actual mission is Purge the Foe. This is one of my favorites. It's basically old school ITC. It's kill one, kill more, hold one, hold more. So in the battle round, if you kill one enemy unit, you get 4 points. If during the whole battle round you kill more than your opponent did, you get an extra 4, so for a total of 8. And then you get 4 points for holding an objective marker in your command phase. If you hold more than your opponent, then you get 8. So it doesn't matter how many you hold. It's just either hold 1, get 4, and then if you hold more, it's 8.
So real quick, before we jump into our actual deployments, let's talk about what we have in reserve real quick, because I know we always gloss over it. So for the Necrons today, I have the Hexmark Destroyer, as well as the 2-man squad of Locust in strategic reserve, the Hexmark being able to deep strike. Lane, for you?
I've got a whole bunch. We got 2 squads of the Thunderkin in reserves. They're not deep striking, they're in reserves. And we got 2 squads of Hearthguard, my baby Terminators. They are in deep strike.
Well, they're in strategic. Now, a thing about strategic is they just are in reserve, and then you can choose whether they're going to deep strike or not at that point because they have the deep strike keyword.
So, with that being said, though, you also do have stuff inside transports too?
Oh, yeah, I got the two. I split up my Hearthkin Warriors to be in the two Sagittars here. So one's this one with a little Magna Rail guy on it, has the gun, the big guns, the Magna Rail, and the missile launcher. And this one just has the Sergeant and some regular guys.
All right.
And some regular guys.
All right, let's get over into our deployment. So for the Necrons, Lane's got the guns, I got the blades. So we need to figure out how to get these blades to his guns before his guns get to my blades. So we got squads of Scorpex and Ophidians over here to be able to move in on objective marker 2. Ophidians can leave the table if there's no reason for them to be over there, if the Scorpex can handle it. I got some Locusts all huddled up in a perfect little triangle, hiding behind this obscuring terrain so that they can pop out and shoot at stuff turn 1. And then these Locusts over here as well can pop out and shoot turn 1. Back here in my terrain, I have the Locust heavies with the erratic exterminators, as well as the Ophidians, things that can leave the table and go do work. Over here, we have the rest of the Locust destroyers, and they are trying to be as much out of sight as they can be, and they should be. That is actually the intent, with the Reanimator doing the same. As we stated at all as well, these is an entire rune. This is obscuring, even though it's not 5 inches. But that's how we are treating it based on GW terrain setup. As soon as you touch these, regardless of windows, you can see through entirely. The ones in all of our terrain in the corners, you cannot. It is considered ground floor is blocking line of sight, even at the smaller edges, to give kind of a fair placement so we have places to go on. These other pieces of center terrain also aspire to, as soon as you touch them, as soon as you move in, you can be seen and see through them, etc., following all the normal terrain rules. They're assumed to have fully open windows on those sides. Last for my deployment is my 2 squads of Scorpex. We have one big 6-man over here. They're going to be able to get shot up. I knew this was going to be where they were going to be for at the beginning of the game, and they're just going to have to test their resilience and see how they can do. If I go first, they can tag that center objective real quick. If not, let's spend some command points and do some reanimation. The rest of my army is relatively hidden, so there would be just really them that they would get hit with it. And then these last squad of Scorpex here that are in position to go on objective marker 1 or threaten the center as we go on with the game. All right. Whew. I'm winded. I got a lot of that in there in one breath. Lane, your turn.
Okay, we're there. There we are.
Wow.
Because the Sagittars and the Pioneer jet bikes all have scout moves. Unfortunately, I won't be able to move them forward into no man's land this game, but I can redeploy based on whether I go first or second. And we got my Thunderkin squad back here holding on to this objective. I just don't have enough room in terms of points to have them in reserves as well. But they're great for holding the objective because especially if someone decides to deep strike near them, they can overwatch them, which is always fun because they overwatch on 5s.
Yeah, so there's not a whole lot of tech into your deployment. It's kind of like, okay, this Sagittar, one generally on the left, one generally on the right, et cetera, et cetera. It's like you want them in those general areas, but after knowing who's going first or not, that's when you're going to determine where they want to go.
Yeah, and I want to kill something turn 1 because obviously for this mission, killing a unit turn 1 gets you 4 points because you can start scoring primaries in turn 1 for the kill-based ones for this mission, and also because I'll be giving out some judgment tokens at the start of the game, and if I kill one of those things that I put those on in turn 1, I get 3 command points in my next command phase, which is a big deal.
So to me, it sounds like this is a game that you actually kind of want to go first.
Yeah, I'd like to go first.
All right, well, let's let the dice decide. I actually think it's time for me to go first. I don't think I've gone first in a while.
I thought you went last time.
No. Hey, well, I am going to be going first this time. So, Lane, you have a lot of pregame stuff, so let's let you get those things situated, and then we'll come back and talk about what you did.
All right, I did some scooching just to hide things a little bit to try and reduce the amount of me getting shot. It's kind of tricky with these bikes because they do have big bases, so sometimes there's a little bit of traffic problem. But we just scooched around a little bit because now DJ will be able to get a few shots early in the game. As far as my pre-game judgment token bequeathals, I have given to this unit of Scorpex 2 judgment tokens. I have given to this big 6-man brick of Scorpex 2 judgment tokens. This big 6-man brick of the whatever these things are, it's a lot of them. I'm going to kill them. So locusts, 2 judgment tokens, and then these Scorpex 2 judgment tokens. As you can tell, I don't like the Scorpex. I do not want them up in my face, so I have given them judgment tokens so that I can kill them as quick as possible.
All right, so the Necron turn was relatively quick. We did have some shooting, but it all went pretty fast. So we got engage on all fronts and extend battle lines as far as our mission secondary. So these Scorpex advanced. They got just far enough to be 3 inches out. Ignore the plasma sight. Plasma sight is actually not a unit. It is just a marker. Just kind of hangs out there to say, hey, we're going to explode up and give devastating wounds this turn. So they made it just far enough. I didn't need to tag this objective marker, but I did just because I could, because there was no reason really not to in this situation. These locusts are staying back, keeping themselves hidden. So the reanimator moved up just to be able to protect and, do reanimator sort of things. These guys stayed back here to wait everything out. And then over here, we moved the Ophidians up with the protection of the runes. They're actually on the bottom level, but just so it's easy to see. And tag that objective so that we were able to, play some threats on 2 objectives to make Lane have to kind of push out so I don't get that bonus 4 points for holding more objectives. Didn't feel a need to push up on the center. I didn't want to make it too easy for Lane to pick up that first unit. And then onto the shooting portion of the show, the 2 Locust Heavy Destroyers, this one right here, and this one right here, drew line of sight right down lane, no pun intended, and there was a squad of bikes right there hugging around that building, and they went 6 for 6, 6 shots, 6 hits, 6 wounds, 6 damage. Bada bing, bada boom, that's 4 points on primary. But I have given Lane some targets, and we'll see what he fires back with, because now he's got a lot better guns than I do. I just had those really cool guns. All right, Lane, what do you got for me?
All right, so my secondaries are deploy teleport homers and engage in all fronts, which are 2 things I don't think I'm going to do this turn. Good news for me is I get a free command point. What we are going to try to do is kill things. So we'll move forward a little bit. I'm missing one of my bike squads already. DJ's hot rolls on those destroyers picked me up pretty bad.
6 for 6 on 6.
So I got to give them fewer than 6 shots of those guys next time. But we'll see. I'm moving up here to take shots down the middle here. I've moved over. I got some Hearthkin out there so they can hold that objective. We're going to put some shots into this squad. Try to pick up one of these that I pre-marked so I get those 3 bonus command points. So these bikes are lined up on them. And then we moved out here so we can take some shots down into these guys. Either what are they, destroyers? The
Locust Heavy Destroyers.
The Heavy Destroyers or the Scorpex. So I'm going to do some shooting and we'll be back in a sec. So we did manage to shoot apart these Scorpex and killed the character, but DJ, of course, spent the 1 CP to pop him back up there with half his wounds. I don't know why they say half his wounds, because they're Necrons. He's going to heal right back up in his command phase. And then we only managed to pop one of these guys.
One of the Locust Heavies.
The Locust Heavy Destroyers, which I will probably never remember throughout this game. Although I will remember because they're going to kill all my stuff real fast. And that's it. That's all the damage done. So I actually do get kill more this turn because I did kill, even though the character came back, I did kill those 2 units, which is good that I get more points because I scored neither of my secondaries. I just get a command point because I'm going to discard probably both of them.
All right, and then at the end of Lane's turn, I did pick up the Ophidians that were back here. I left the other Ophidians down, so I'm going to pick these guys up. I can't deep strike onto an objective, but I might need them to be in other places here. All right, and we are deployed. In other words, I brought in all my reserves this turn. So my secondaries were not as grandiose as my first turn, but can't complain because Lane had the rougher of the 2 sides of that one. I got Investigate Signals and Capture Enemy Outpost. And I like Capture Enemy Outpost. Sometimes I can do it. Today is not one of those days. There is no way I'm feeding through all that to try and get in there. There is no safe spot for the Ophidians to land and possibly charge on the objective. Maybe over here. Maybe. But it's 1 unit on a 9-inch charge. I don't feel comfortable around that. So instead, we're just going to deploy teleport homers with the Ophidians in the corner right here, and the Scorpex over here, and call it a turn for that. So we'll get the points on that. Now, as far as everything else, as far as the battle is concerned, the Scorpex Lord over here is still missing 1 wound. but he's going to try and mix it up and shoot it and fight over here against the Sagittar and these little Hearthguard. And then my Locusts are still staying back, waiting for later in the game to do some action stuff. Their Lord is keeping control and giving bonuses to those Locusts, which are going to do some heavy damage. And just kind of spreading out, waiting until the rest of the infantry get on the table before I unleash their devastation of the Locust heavies with the Exterminators. Over here, Locusts reanimated their one dude, but again, only got 2 wounds back on him, even with the reanimator, and brought him out to do some shooting in center. And the Scorpex moved on to center, and they're going to try and make an 8-inch charge onto those bikes and see if they can't get in there. Over here, downwind, the Locust heavies over here move up to put some shots. They have options onto the Sagittar or the bikes, depending on how other things go. I brought the Locusts in over here. They could not go on the objective initially, but they're getting preparation to take this objective so that my Scorpex and my Ophidians can do other more important things as the game goes on. And good old Mr. Hexy, Hexmark Destroyer lands to start getting irritating and annoying because I know Lane's going to want to shoot at my Scorpex, so at least I can shoot back at him when he chooses to do so. All right, that's going to be it for the movement. Now it's time to get these guns ablazing. All right, so shooting went really well. This Scorpec was able to pick up a couple of the little Hearthkin in there, so makes his life a little easier. And then over here, the Hexmark picked up a few of the Hearthkin warriors. The Scorpec Lord also picked up a few of them because I don't want to make my charge any more difficult on these guys. And then as far as the Locust heavies, these bad boys did it again, picking up the Sagittar like nothing. And then these Locust heavies over here just fired all the way downfield to pick 2 of the bikes off just to reduce the squad size a little bit. So now it's time to do some charging. We got an 8-inch charge that we need over here, and anything but a 1. Anything but double 1s. So we'll be back after these charges and combat. All right, so we did make a good push. The Scorpec Lord succeeded, didn't fail, and hit the set. He charged in, did impact damage onto these little Hearthkin. Only was able to pick up 2 of them left, so there's still 1 guy hanging out there. And then he did cut a little bit of damage to the Sagittar, dropping it down to 6 wounds. Over here, we cleared a bunch of bikes. We got 1 bike left remaining there as we beat up them with Scorpec, popped the Plasma Sight for some devastating wounds, so it had lethal and devastating effect. And then piled in to pick up the Hearthkins just to shut off a little more shooting. I mean, we got these Thunderkin back here that are probably not happy at what I did. And considering what these guys' position are in, I'm pretty sure I know what's going to happen next with them. But I'm satisfied. I got a kill. I got a kill. I got a command point. I got 4 points on secondaries, and not too bad. It's just going to go into Lane and see what Lane's going to bring back, because he's got some reserves, some deep strikes, and a whole bunch of nasties coming my way.
Okay, guys, for my turn, I pulled Capture Enemy Outpost, which I spent 1 CP to discard because I got 4 CP this turn. I got my CP for the turn, and then I got 3 CP because I killed one of my Oath targets in turn 1. So I spent a CP and pulled another one. I got Cleanse and Assassinate. I'm going to spend another CP because I'm so CP wealthy to have this last surviving Hearthkin fall back and shoot, which will allow him to cleanse on the objective. So he will be cleansing there. At least get some points. We need to get some points. And then I just brought a lot of stuff in here. So Hearthguard coming in, lining up shots on the
Locust Heavy Destroyers.
Why can't I not remind it? Locust Heavy Destroyers. They're also 9 inches away from the Scorpec Lord, who we will charge after we're done shooting at those guys. Bikes wheeled around here. We have the Thunderkin all moved out so they can take shots here. And then we have dropped in, these guys all fell back. Everybody passed their battle shock tests. Leadership 7 rolled a bunch of 7s. So we're in good shape. The Hearthguard, led by the Call, dropped in here. And then the Thunderkin, led by the Iron Master, dropped in here. We're going to put shots downtown into these guys. There's no judgment tokens there yet, so we'll see how this goes. Hopefully I pick up a couple of them. So I'm going to do a bunch of shooting, and we'll be back in a sec. So we had these Thunder Buddies and these Hearthguard shooting into these guys and managed to pick up 1. No, DJ did not spend on the CP reanimation strat. He didn't have to. I only got 1. It makes a big difference with Votann if there's no judgment tokens on there. So, but that's all right. We picked up all these Scorpex and got the Scorpec Lord down to 1. Although he has not been reanimated yet, so he still can be subject to the reanimation strat. And then we did pick up these 3 Locust Heavy Destroyers.
Yeah.
I did it. I remembered it.
Right.
Yay. Good job, me. And that's it. The Sagitar fired into this guy and whiffed. Yeah, that's what we got. We're going to do a couple charges. All right, so these Hearthguard made their charge and picked up 2 of the... What are these guys again that I heard?
Ophidian.
Ophidians. Got 2 of them. And then the bikes charged in here, and DJ made all of the saves. I spent a CP giving me 2 extra AP on my swings here. It doesn't matter. He made all of his saves, and I feel no pain. So didn't actually pick him up. But the good news is when he swung back, he totally whiffed and did not get a single bike.
Horribly.
So yeah, that's it. These guys failed their charge. It would have been great if they can got into him. I did fail to get assassinate, so that's a bummer. But I think I'll hold on to that one because I should have a good chance of killing someone on this next turn. On to DJ's turn. Oh, I did get kill more, right?
You killed the Scorpex. You killed the Locust Heavies. I killed the Sagittar. And did I pick anything up from your army? I don't believe so. I think that was it. I just killed the Sagittar, and then I just beat a lot of things up, but I didn't kill anything.
Yeah, there's lots of little units left here that you can scrape up. So I do get kill more this turn, and I did get 3 points on cleanse. That's it.
So let's see if we can't return some fire onto the Votann. We picked up Pop the Veil, picked up the Ophidians. We're doing a lot of work here this turn. We got no prisoners and secure no man's land. So we are starting from this corner. We brought these Ophidians back in, but due to the mission special rule, we're not allowed to land on the objective marker. That's okay. We reanimated 1 guy back with 1 wound. Hopefully the reanimator can help us to get a full model next turn so we can take that objective marker with ease. The other Ophidians came back here so that they have a nice, happy middle point to pick objective markers they need to go onto. And the Locust Heavies have landed and have many, many juicy targets for their rapid fire weapons. Over here, Locust Heavies and the Locust moved up on this objective, so right now we contest it. As long as we can just kill 1 dude, we take it. The Scorpex got hit with a nasty overwatch from the Thunderkin since they overwatch on 5 ups. Lane was able to pick 2 of them up, so a little bit weaker to my play right there. Hopefully I still am able to do enough to take that objective marker. I think I should be good to take it.
I got lucky and rolled a lot on my number of shots from the blast cannons, the grab cannons.
And then we moved the hex mark down to tag this objective marker so I didn't have to fall back with the Scorpec Lord, and he can try and finish off those bikes, hopefully, in this turn. Alrighty, now we got some shooting to do. Oh, and these Locusts all moved in range and in positioning to try and remove some of these little baby terminators. So, all right, guys, let's do some shooting and see how it all plays out. So I got to call him out on this. I love how Lane always complains about my saves, but yeah.
I don't always complain, but I do complain.
I guess always is a subjective definition. The Locusts poured their heart and soul into these guys, and were only able to successfully remove 1. So that is going to be trouble that these guys are still at full
DJ
size.
spent the CP to do full rerolls to wound, but I also spent the CP on void armor, so I was making 3-ups.
Yeah,
and I made like 9 out of 10 3-ups.
So now over here, what did work out very well for us is these big bad locust beetleborg bugs were able to put a lot of heat into the Thunderkin, which had the little robot buddies for protection and everything else, and just really shredded them. And then the Locust Destroyers, I think I have not failed to do damage with these. I think I've hit with
every single hit, every single wound so far.
Yeah, and they were able to go in there and just straight up clear some guys. So that squad is significantly weaker. I'm not as worried about it. It's still damage, but it's significantly weaker. So now all that's left is to do some charges and see what we can't make happen here, since we did eliminate the squad down to a little bit of now we control the objective marker. I could just charge with the Scorpex and try to pick off what I can. And
You did pick up one of these guys and shoot him too.
I needed to kill just one to be able to take that objective for my secondary. So yeah, let's go over into the charges. So it did work. We finally finished off this Sagittar with Scorpack Lord, and he's just going to hang out there. Be a happy little guy. Picked him up. And then over here, the Scorpack Lord Thanos followed suit and picked up all the bikes. And he's just going to stand there. Be a happy little Scorpack Lord. And then over here, we charged in, picked up the majority of the squad. And now they're just going to hang out there. Be a happy little Scorpack Lord. So that's where we're going to sit. We did get 4 points on no prisoners, not the maximum. Lost that by 1. And we did get in secure no man's land. Nicely. Got 2 of the objective markers. And now we're going to push over to Lane and see what he can do back. He's got some Thunderkin still in reserve. Some Thunderkin still over there on the table. And this scary squad that I really didn't touch. So we'll see how things go.
Okay, so I kept Assassination because I'm pretty confident I'll kill a character this turn.
And he'll
And then I
back
pulled Investigate Signals, which I might, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with Investigate Signals. But shuffle these guys around a little bit so they can shoot down here at this Scorpack Lord. He doesn't get any cover. These guys moved up so they can charge into this Scorpack Lord and put some shots into these
regular Locust Destroyers.
Regular Locust Destroyers. This little crew fell back. These guys moved forward. They are battle shocked. They do file a battle shock test. And then these Thunderkin dropped in. And then the bike I had picked up at the end of my turn, because if they're within 6 inches of the table edge, I can pick them up at the end of my opponent's turn, and they come in from reserve.
Who
so they
does
in
that?
There.
Picking units up off the table in their opponent's turn. That's not fair.
Yeah, listen, Mr. Grey Nice player. I also ran away with these guys, ran them back towards the corners, and also ran away with this guy who was on the objective. Surprised that DJ didn't shoot at him last turn. He wanted to put everything into the Hearthguard, but he ran away. And now it's going to do some shooting. I'll see if I get something. Okay, these guys are still here. The Hearthguard tried really hard. I got 15 wounds with the plasma because I used the strat to do sustained. Even though I had 9 shots, I ended up with 15 wounds because I rolled a bunch of 6s. However, when it came to my wound roll, with 15 wounds, I rolled, rolling on 15 dice, I got 8 1s out of 15 dice. So these guys are still around. I did kill a couple more than this. The grenades did some work, but DJ had some pretty good save rolls, and he did use the reanimate strat to bring it back. So we do have 4 of the regular Locust Destroyers.
Well, 3 of the Locust Lord. 1 is the Locust Lord.
Okay, so 3 and still. So they're still around. Shot one of these guys up here. Only kill I've actually got so far for units is I picked up the last Scorpack from the unit. The Thunderkin whiffed this turn. These guys, Thunderkin, killed the 1 Scorpack there. And these guys failed to kill the Scorpack Lord in the middle. I was hoping to kill both Scorpack Lords in shooting to force DJ to only be able to resurrect 1 with the strat. However, I killed 0. So, yeah. Anyways, we're going to do a couple charges. Okay, did manage to finish off this Scorpack Lord in combat. DJ tried really hard. He made 8 out of 9 saves, but we did manage to pick him up. And then nothing happened over here. Iron Master with the Grav Hammer failed to do any damage on this last guy with 1 wound left. So that means he's going to heal back up to full. So on to DJ's turn. We both got 2 kills this turn. So we both tied at 8 on primaries for hold 1 and kill 1. And then on secondaries, I just got Assassinate for 5 points. I'm going to hold on to Investigate Signals because I think I'll be able to score that on my next turn.
So we got to do some damage and remove some of these heavy hitters because these Thunderkin can start to remove units. Lane rolls hot. Boom. Unit's dead, unit's dead, unit's dead.
I have not been removing units so far, though.
So what we're looking at here, and I got some... It's weird. It's weird, but I'm hopeful for the best. So these guys, because I did like no damage to them last round with the Locust, are very, very, very scary in the backfield. So I'm kind of moving away from them. So Locust moved away. I only actually reanimated 1 guy back. Rolled a 1 and then Reanimator rolled a 1. So I got 1 dude back with 2 wounds. I'll get to trigger the Res Orb and get some back in Lane's phase, but that doesn't help me right now. I was able to hold more, so I got that extra bonus points because I reanimated the Ophidian successfully and was able to put that on the objective marker. And then over here, we reanimated one dude, fell back for the Locust, fell back, and then got overwatched and lost him immediately and went back to one guy with one wound. So, yeah, that was fun. Now we're just going to take some shots. We're going to try and have these Locusts shoot the heavy Locusts over here are going to shoot in a Thunderkin. Depending on how they do, is going to kind of dictate what these Locust heavies do over here. Because they have quite a few things to shoot at, and they sat still, so they're going to get the heavy bonus, and then Scorpek, the Ophidians advanced, but the Scorpek Lord did not. So hopefully he can get in there and mishmash with those Thunderkin. All right, let's roll some dice. So the saga of me leaving one model alive continues, because we got this one lone little dude over here. And now over here. So in the shooting, we didn't do as much with these guys. They did a little bit. They did what you would expect with shots and hits and damages and saves. It's these Locust heavies, man. Once again, 3 hits, 3 wounds, 3 dead. So there was only one dude left out of that squad. Again, story of my life this game. One guy left over there. Now we got 2 guys left over there. And then we went into the charges. The Scorpek, we'll scan over real quick. Scorpek charge, finished off the last 2 guys over there. Impact damage was basically enough. Locust picked up the Locust heavies picked up both of the Thunderkin. These Locust heavies also did damage to the Thunderkin, not quite as much. And then the Ophidians, like I said, they advanced. The Hexmark sprayed and did nothing. These Locusts, even with only 4 left, picked up 1 of the Hearth Guards. Now there's 8 left in there. This squad is scary as far as things go, because I do not see any way that I'm going to be able to remove it as it's moving across the field. And then the Scorpek Lord passed his charge, made it in, and just clubbed 3 of them. There were 6 in there?
Yeah, impact damage picked up 1, then you picked up 2 more.
Nice. Okay, so that was that. So I got area denial for the center, and my other secondary is defend stronghold. I currently have 2 kills for the turn, so we'll see. Maybe I can pick up something else in Lane's turn. We'll see how it goes down. And as long as I hold my home field, I'll score 3 points on that. So let's kick it over to Lane and see how it goes from here.
I held on to investigate signals, and then I pulled behind enemy lines. So these little buddies passed their battle shock test. Good job. And ran back here, or didn't run. They moved back here, so they're within 9 of the table edge, so they can investigate. These guys fell back, and I spent 1 CP so they can fall back and shoot. This guy failed his battle shock test. That's okay. I just want to use him to shoot with. These guys did not move, so they don't get overwatched. This bike had stayed over here, and now he is both within 9 inches of the table edge or within 9 inches of the corner to investigate signals, and he's behind enemy lines.
And he was successful with a battle shock.
He did pass his battle shock.
Good job.
And so did this guy way over here. So we're going to investigate in 3 different places with 3 different units that all passed their battle shock. Good job on battle shock. And that's it. Hearthguard moved up. They're going to try to shoot a unit. I'm trying to get 3 kills to get past DJ on his 2 kills for the turn. So I will do some shooting and we'll be back. Not a whole lot got taken care of here. Not a whole lot of kills. Now I got 1 kill, right, for me?
Yeah, you finished off that squad. Yeah.
Yeah. So we finished off this
Locust Destroyer
in combat. And then these guys fell back and did no damage. These guys shot here and picked up 2 of these, and then DJ reanimated, and I shot 1 more, so it's still there.
And then a bunch of guys shot over there and finished off that
so
one again.
My shooting did mostly nothing. So there, that was it. So I do get behind enemy lines and investigate signals, so I do get 9 points, which is nice. No kills though, so 4 points, so I got 1 kill, but DJ will get more kills for this turn. And on to turn 5.
All right, so my last secondaries are overwhelming force and behind enemy lines. So behind enemy lines, nice time to get it. I'm pushing forward. I picked up these Ophidians and dropped them back down as a nice little backup in case something goes wrong with the Scorpek Lord and he dies, or something I lose in his deployment zone. So we'll probably get that. Now the other one is overwhelming force. So we need to take this objective from lane. And we're going to try and take this objective, even though, yeah, that's most likely not going to happen. I've been pouring everything into this unit, and it has not budged. But we got a lot to pour back. So we got Locust Heavies, and we're just going to go and hit him basically with the kitchen sink on those things and see what we can do. And then the Scorpack Lord that was on that objective, he's going to try and take out those last two dudes over there. Hopefully be able to, should be able to. And then my race will swing in there so I can at least tip the scales on the kill more factor and close out this game with a solid score. All right, let's see how this all turns out. All right, so things started to clear out as we did some damage. So we did shoot, and Locust Heavies were able to help out. We got this squad down to 4, but we're not going to be able to remove it out of this game. And over here in the combat step, we did pick up the last guys over here, picked up the last ones over here, picked up the last of the Thunderkin over here with some shooting and charges and damage from impact. And we did pick up our 9-inch charge over here and pick up that dude. So we are clearing out way, so much of the kill more on this. And right now, lane has these 2 little dudes.
That's a lot.
These 4 little guys. And 1 bike that he just picked up to put in his hand to see what he gets for secondaries and what happens. So, all right, let's let lane conclude this turn and this game.
Not much I can do in this turn because DJ killed me all. I'm all dead. So, but basically just trying to pull out the last couple points. Held on to this objective for 4 points for holding 1. And then had 3 of these guys, the Hearthguard, in range of the Hex mark. And so I decided to spend 1 CP to do the sustained hits. And I kid you not, and DJ will show the picture. We should have rolled this one out on camera because I threw 3 6s. And so it was 9 hits on the Hex mark. So I did kill the Hex mark. Of course, DJ, not wanting to give me any feeling of satisfaction, spent the 1 CP to bring him back. So he is still back there, but I did get a kill. So I pulled off 8 points on primary at the end of the turn. However, my secondaries are terrible this game. I just pulled, wasn't able to really do well with secondaries. So DJ had a great game, pulled off a score of 97 for the Necrons to 71 for the Votann. So a good game, a good test of the Votann. I was trying to run them, but didn't quite get where I want to. DJ, how do you feel about this second run with the Destroyers?
I'm ready for the next challenger. Like, this thing is scary.
Yeah,
this is very scary.
It hurts real hard.
Let's get over to the. We'll get you guys over and some of the reactions and that stuff. I'm just, man, 97-71, Destroyer Cult.